All right. Happy Tuesday. Can you believe it's February 25th, right? 23rd.
23rd.
23rd. My bad. 23rd. 23rd. We have, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more days to February. How's everyone doing? How's the training coming along? Any questions? Any doubts? Any suggestions?
Any praise reports? Anything.
Anything, yes.
Bad things, but we want to hear from you what these last 9 days have been.
Y'all make people think. And that's hard sometimes. One of the assignments were like, what's your strength? And when you come from a family that's as big as mine and you're just forced to do and not think about doing it, you really don't notice what you're doing. You don't notice what your strengths are. So y'all have made a person think a lot these last couple of days. So thank y'all.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Someone also had mentioned in one of the posts, in that same post, that they felt a little like it was out of their comfort zone to acknowledge their strengths. And so that's also good. I mean, we can take ownership of those, and we should also take ownership of our weaknesses, right? So we can work on those. But I can't remember which writer or author mentions that you shouldn't always work on your weaknesses, but you should always try to make your strength stronger, because those come easy for you, So why not work on those as well? So thanks, Gladys, for sharing.
I want to share something on that. Yesterday, I'm a huge. A lot of you guys don't know this, but I'm a huge Eric Thomas fan. And if you don't know who Eric Thomas is, please don't tell me that you don't know who he is and just go YouTube the guy. But he's basically the guy that's known for, I know the tagline. How can I say I'm such a fan and I don't know the tagline? Anyways, just look up Eric Thomas. He's amazing. He does most of the motivational videos, the black guy with the deep voice. He does literally 9 out of 10 YouTubes. So on my way home yesterday from the airport, which the airport is about an hour and 15 minutes away from where I live, I was listening to him, and he said something that really stuck out to me. He said, it was a Q&A session at the end, and someone asked him, how do you develop on your weaknesses? And he says, I don't believe in weaknesses. I believe in and I wrote it down. I believe in underdeveloped strengths. I believe that you can make your weakness your biggest asset as long as you develop it. And that was like, and you know me with personal development, almost everything to me is, but I thought it was awesome because it's easy to say, and I'm there now with challenge groups. Gabby and I had a conversation about this yesterday, and Judy and I did last night over the phone, where I feel like challenge group, it's my weakness. But then when I heard that, I started thinking, no, it is something I have to work on to make it my strength, because for this business, I cannot allow that to be a weakness. That has to be literally as important as business in writing, because Janelle Summers, when you haven't heard that call yet, that call was so good to the point I already listened to it twice. I listened to it on the way to the airport yesterday, and today while I was folding laundry here, I listened to the call and I took notes, and I literally took notes of all 5 points along with everything she said. That by far is my favorite call. So I wanted to share that with you guys because I thought that was powerful. It's easy to blame on your weakness versus looking at it as an underdeveloped strength. And that's going to take a while for me to get used to. That's like a tongue twisting, but write that down. Underdeveloped strength. Whatever your weakness is, little by little, day by day, develop it. So I want to take a moment and say happy birthday to Jalissa. She hopped on. We weren't expecting her to hop on. She was at dinner with her husband. Happy birthday. Hope you enjoyed your dinner. But yeah, so guys, that was mind-blowing. So I really wanted to share that with you guys. Anybody else want to share?
I have to say that, I mean, the whole personal development part of everything is really awesome. I think this is the best part of being a coach so far. It's only been a month for me, but, the best part is personal development. I'm reading both the Badass book and the book that's part of the assignment. I can't think of the name of it right now. Oh my god. Anyway, I just think the personal development is great. I'm learning more about what to do to be a coach and how to be a coach and be a good coach. So I think it's awesome. So far, so good.
Love it.
I hopped on a little later. Are we talking about like our takeaways for the week?
Anything that you want to share? Takeaways, questions, praises, comments?
For me, it was a really informative week because I'm doing both skin in the game and then I'm doing business builders. So I'm learning about how to approach different coaches, how to deal with a no or a not right now, with the whole I know how you feel, I felt the same way, kind of things of that nature, so that you can relate to them, or so that you know that you were there once upon a time, but this is how you surpassed it. So basically a way to, I guess, try and convince them to come on board. So it was a very informative week for me. I really, really enjoyed it. A little overwhelming.
You're doing good, girl. You're doing good. Anybody else? Have you, let's talk about the book, the network marketing book. I feel like I haven't even started, which I'm upset. My book is not here yet. That's what happens when you live in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
But it should be here hopefully by the end of the week. How has it been? What's something that has helped you this week specifically with your power hours? We're assuming that you're I actually have mine in front of me. I was checking off. You see that? Like, we're telling you to do a power hour. Here it is. Here's mine. Like we're doing it. We're in the trenches. And I know Gabby's printed hers out too. And she actually inspired me to print mine out. I did it today for the first time. I normally have it electronically and then I have it in this piece of paper and write everything down. But I said, no, I'm going to go 100%. So since you've learned, what have you learned from the book that has personally impacted you and has personally made you apply and put it into action with your daily power hour? Can anybody share from the book specifically?
I'm trying to remember. I'm on chapter 4.
Is that Melanie?
I would say that just feeling like becoming really good at inviting as many people. I think it's really hard sometimes to do personal invites. And then when you are kind of pushed to do it, you sometimes feel like you're failing when you don't get people to answer. But the more you put yourself out there, the higher your chances are that you're going to get some response. And I feel like that's one of those things I've been working on a lot lately.
Awesome. So you're seeing the difference since you started from being a new coach literally last month, because, I know you've been working the business for a month, or a little over a month. You've seen the difference in that area of growth.
Hold on. I can barely hear you. What was that?
I said that you noticed the difference from the last, 5-6 weeks you've been working the business. You've seen the difference in the area of growth and reading the book, like the difference with network marketing and stuff.
Yeah, and it's not just the book, it's everything. Like, I know we learned all of it in a new coach training, but I think you keep hearing repetitively and it starts being embedded into you. And it's all just different ways of hearing it that sometimes gives you a new perspective of it. Started off this month really slow. I hadn't gotten anything. It might not show up yet, but I'm actually at Success Club 9. And I have 2 discount coaches.
That's awesome.
In the past, 4 or 5 days is when I got all of them. Yesterday, I went to meet somebody, hoping they would buy, and they actually bought 2 challenge packs, one for the daughter and one for the father.
Wow. That's awesome.
Nice.
That's good that you mentioned that, because something like this, she's from a whole different MLM, different. And when you read it and you see, everything that she breaks down all the steps that we utilize, it's nothing different, And so And like you mentioned, you heard it in your coach camp, and you're hearing it in, in this. Did you do Skin in the Game, the first one, or no?
No.
No. So now you're listening, to, or reading and listening, depending on the post, and then you're reading your book, and it's the same thing. But sometimes it'll click when you connect with that individual. So that's why we do these. It's we do them not to be repetitive, and not to, you know, have you guys think that we just want to kill you with the same information, but it's because eventually it's going to make sense and it's going to click, and you're going to be like, oh, this is why, so I'm glad that you mentioned that, because it all comes together at some point.
I'll tell you one thing I'll take from last week's wake-up call. I know it's kind of off topic because we're talking about the book, but last week's wake-up call on Instagram, I started my own, a different Instagram just for the business. I have more followers on there now than I do on my own. And my own's been open for 3 years. I get more likes, I get all that stuff. It's just very positive. A lot of it's a lot of coaches that are doing it. They're doing the likes and stuff like that, which is cool. But, I just got to figure out how to work that into the business and direct message to people that are not coaches or stuff like that. But that's one takeaway I took from last 9 days. The new Instagram account is working out really well.
That's awesome. I feel like the National Wake Up Call, and I'm just sharing this, like, being honest, like, the National Wake Up Call to me should be like, especially being that it's on Monday, should be like your top personal development. And I think this is Carlos that said that, right? Because I know we have Louis and Carlos.
Yes.
Like, I think you're the perfect proof of that right now, because you listened, you executed, and now proof of it is, hey, I had an old Instagram, and in my new one, I already have so much more followers, because you put it to action. And I think that's one thing that I myself, and I shared my personal development takeaway from, like, I think it's like Friday, where Charlene Johnson was like, one thing that we don't do is immediately taking action on what we're learning. We continue to feed ourselves, but at some point, you're going to get full and you're not doing anything about it, and you just, like, I feel like you're a perfect example of that. So, like, that's one of the reasons why I told Gabby, I'm going to make the National Wake Up Call like one of their action items, because I want you guys to get used to and see the value. It's not just listening, because anybody can listen, right? We can go back and listen to countless of hours in a podcast, but if you apply what these top coaches are telling us to do, they're literally paving the way. They don't have to, right? Because we're not a part of their teams, but they choose to give back to the rest of the network. So just wanted to share that.
Since we're talking about the National Wake Up Call, in one of the National Wake Up Calls, gosh, I can't remember. First of all, I'm bad with names, really bad with names, but I can't, and I really can't remember what leader it was, but she mentioned stop being collector of personal development, like just collector of information. And many of us do that, we take all these notes and we're like, yes, this is awesome. And then we never put it into action, because we get overwhelmed with all of the information that they're giving us, and we know it's great, but all you have to do, guys, is take one piece of information, and then put it into action, and try it that day, and then do it the next day. And then once you've gotten that down, then take another piece of information, because at the end of the day, it's impossible for us to do everything that everyone is preaching to us to do, right? So just pick one and run with it, but pick one, because if you're not picking any, then you're not going to move your business forward, because the National Wake Up Call is like every call. And I love to hear it live. I know many of you can't because you're at work, but I love to hear it live, because once I miss it, I just have so many other things to do that it's really hard for me to catch up. So the one for yesterday was amazing. I definitely recommend that you guys listen. If you didn't, take notes. I took notes, like 3 pages, and I'm going back to listen to that one, because it was truly, truly amazing.
Yeah, it really was. I love that call. Like I said, I already listened to it twice and took all the notes that I wanted to. So, but I know who you're talking about, Gabby. It's redheaded. I forgot her name. But I remember when I heard that, and you know what? She said it in a national wake-up call, and then she said it in a training. And in the training that she did for Scotty Hobbs, and I know it's Gray, something Gray, last name Gray, I forgot, whatever. She said in Scotty Hobbs' training, she said, I tell my leaders, I'd rather you listen to one book per year and apply everything in that book than listen to 52 books in a year and apply nothing to those books. That was to me. And I remember, I think it was Jalissa at that time, that's when we were getting bigger personal development and we were doing this Scotty Hobbs training. And that was like a punch in the gut because as you know, I'm sure you all noticed, especially in Gabby's team, I'm huge in personal development. I'm constantly listening to something. So it's one of those things that, so true. So true. It doesn't do anything to us if we don't put it to action, you know?
I wanted to talk a little bit about the book. So I'm up to chapter 5, the power of prospecting. And I took some notes that I thought that kind of stood out for me. Obviously, we've been talking about the more people that you talk to, the faster your business will grow. But I like this point that she made where she said, don't become emotionally connected to the outcome. And I think when you're first a coach and you start to get, when you first start, a lot of people will jump on board and they want to know what you're doing. And then it kind of not dies off, but you're not getting as much attention and you start getting the no's. It might impact you because and that's why personal development is important. But I like that she put the example of treat yourself like a waiter or a waitress pouring a cup of coffee. A server's not offended when you say no to the coffee. They just keep offering it to everyone. And I like that point because I was like, oh, wow. Like if you look at it like that, people are going to say no, but don't take it too hard and just keep going because eventually they either are going to come back because they're always watching or you just keep it moving. And then she also talked about the 3 C's that she uses to plug into the business, that these people could become a consultant, a customer, or a connector. And that's a different way of thinking about the people that you are, trying to get into your challenges and things like that. So I like that chapter.
Yeah, that book is amazing. Period. I feel like my whole book is, underlined, written. It's just, and it's an easy read. So. But it's true. We can't get offended. I know it's hard, like you said, Wendy, when you first start, because we take it personal, But at the end of the day, has nothing to do with us. And once you realize that, then you're okay with the outcome. And eventually they'll come back. I've had people, that I've contacted to invite them when I first started, almost 2 years ago. And they would read my message, which I'm sure I'm not the only one here, that when you invite someone and you're having a whole full-fledged conversation and then you invite them to a challenge group and then they disappear, you're like, really? Like, I know you saw that message, but
I have a whole bunch of them in my account right now.
Right.
It's true.
So, but you're like, really? Right. And at the beginning, that's like, that gets under your skin. You're like, what? But the same people who totally disappeared, that totally disregarded my message, who totally pretended like they didn't even see it. I kept doing my part. I kept following up or kept, posting on social media or just doing my 3 vital behaviors. And then they come back like, you know what, girl? And God just sends them the month that they need to be helped. You know what I mean?
Right.
But you just have to basically offer the help so that they know they can come back to you whenever they are ready. So we cannot get mad at them. And then we have to get mad at ourselves if we're only inviting 1 person or 2 people a month, right? That's our fault. But then they come back and they say, you know what? I've been watching you and you have been relentless about this journey. And every single day or every single month, I see your transformation because they read your post. Just because they're not liking them doesn't mean that they're not watching. Because sometimes I'll contact someone privately like, hey girl, how you do? Nothing Beachbody related. And they'll be like, oh my God, I saw Matias, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, but you didn't even like that post. But so.
That's so true. I had one of the girls that when I first started in September, she was one of the first people to reach out to me, and I went through the whole thing. I presented everything. I answered all her questions. It was like a 2-3 day ordeal. Come to find out that she went ahead and ordered, the package through just the team, Beachbody team discount. So I was like, wait, what? Because I started seeing her post pictures of Shakeology. And I took it to heart. I was like, wait a minute, you don't wasted my time.
No, right?
Whatever, I let it go. But every so often she would send me like a message like, oh, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? So I would answer. And just, 2-3 weeks ago, she asked me about the hammer and chisel. And I just like Abby's saying, they're watching you post, they're watching you do all the videos. And I said, oh, I love it. It's a great program and this and that. And before you know it, she's like, can we chat? We chatted. And now she's in the group, her and her husband. Awesome. But I was like, oh, okay. Went from there to this, to that. So yes, it's very true. They're always watching, and you can't take it to heart. And, and
I love that you brought that part up though, Wendy, the don't get offended by the outcome. Like, don't have, we have to be intentional because we want to help people, right? But you can't go into a relationship expecting something out of it, because if you're expecting something out of it, then you're going to get hurt. Right. If you don't get, what you're expecting out of it. So when you go into it just wanting to help them, whether they, are going to be helped this month or 5 years later, you've done your part. And the fact that Wendy kept that connection and that relationship going, even though she decided to do it on her own, Wendy was providing value in her life. And so when she was ready to be coached, she remembered who's been helping without expecting anything in return. And that's why she went back to Wendy. So that's what we need to focus on.
Yeah. It's definitely true, because I actually had an experience a couple of weeks ago. I had a friend that she had approached me about the 21-day fix. She already had T25. And when I told her about it, she was kind of like, well, that sounds really complicated. I'm like, it's really not that complicated. I'll teach you. I'll show you. I was like, come over to my house. I'll show you everything. So she decided she didn't want to do it because it was too complicated. She didn't have time. So she started doing the T25 and posting about it. And she, people were asking her, what are you doing? She had posted that she was doing some type of diet. I don't even know what it was. And people started asking her, what is it about? Is this Beachbody related? She's like, no, it's not Beachbody related. That stuff really doesn't work. That's too complicated. And I was like, excuse me? I was like, what? Who are you talking about? You didn't even try it. And the other day, I just felt I was like, you know what? I'm going to text her. I'm going to see, because she has been posting. And even though she was talking mad junk about Beachbody, I was like, you know what? I'm going to still be like, good job. You're doing a good job. Keep doing your workouts. I love that T25. Shanti's amazing. You keep going, And
but T25 is Beachbody still.
Exactly. That's what I said. I was like, I don't get it. So I finally messaged her, and I was like, you know what? I was like, you're doing such an amazing job. I see that you're posting a lot. I was like, you're doing basically the same thing I'm doing, but I'm getting paid for it. I was like, I think you would be an amazing coach. And she was like, you know what? I think that would be really good. She was like, you know what? Once I finish school, I think I'm going to do that. And I was like, mira, talking so much junk. And then later on, she was interested in it, So it was just having to be there, even though it did, it kind of offended me because I kind of got a little upset. But, at the end, you just you're still there for that person. It really works. It'll work out.
Basically. I love it.
I just want them to join.
We all do, but yeah. It's at their time, not ours.
Yeah.
And you know what ends up happening when they join at our time? They drop.
Yeah.
They stop posting. That's what happens. Because they weren't ready. They might have just done it to be like, oh my gosh, she's really persistent, That's why their needs always have to come before ours. Always. That's why we have to listen to their needs, their wants, and then we have to connect them to the right program
Mhm.
so that they can succeed. Yeah, and I always tell all my challengers, you know, if you stop working out or if you buy something and you just leave it on the counter, then I failed you as a coach, because my job is to educate you and to get you to your goals, you know, to make sure that you guys are successful. And so that's why we always have to put their needs before ours. And we're human, so it can happen, you know, but we have to constantly remind ourselves that it's about them and not us. So, but great job, Emily.
I know, that was awesome. That's my punchline. You're doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm just getting paid for it.
Yeah, and that's where I got it from. I remember you told me that, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to use it, see if it works. And it did.
Everybody. I use that on everybody.
It does.
It's fine.
Because they start thinking about it, and they're like, oh, it's simple. Like, it's not that complicated. Like,
You know?
Already
Good job.
posting,
I'm proud of you.
which is one of the things that people struggle with, posting on social media. You know, she's sharing her journey. People are going to eventually come to her and be like, what's up? What are you doing?
mm-hmm.
Right? And then she's going to come right to you and be like, girl, somebody wants to sign up. What do I do? How do I get paid?
And it's true, because I have a friend of mine, actually, I was telling Melanie the other day about it. Once I finished the training that tells you how to approach different coaches, like the fitness coach per se, and I have a friend, he's lost over 200 pounds, and he's constantly posting on Facebook, you know. He has his own hashtag, everything, and he's trying to raise money for his excess skin removal. So he's making T-shirts and he's selling them, you know. So he's raised quite a bit, but he still has a way to go. And I said, well, you know what? You have all the odds on your favor. You have a huge group of followers, you know. You've made a difference. You've lost a lot of weight, you know. The only difference is, like, what's your name said, is that I'm getting paid for it, you know. So have you considered coaching? And he just got married last weekend. So I said, speak it over with the wife. And one of the trainings that I'm doing says to always send or do like a third person kind of thing. So I send out one of Ali's videos that teaches them about the program and coaching and things of that nature. And it seems he hasn't, I followed up with him today, and he hasn't had the opportunity to see it. He's supposed to be seeing it with his wife, and hopefully I hear back from them soon.
And that's the question. That's the $1 million question. Have you ever considered coaching?
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of times, you know, someone else, I watched a video about another coach. It was a short video. If I find it, I'll post it in the mastermind group. And it was very simple. It was like literally like 5-minute video, maybe 7. But she talked about putting her own insecurities when she went to ask before, so that's kind of like, you know, out there, just so that they know that it's okay for them to say no. I'm not interested, or you know, I never thought about it, whatever it is. But she'll say things like something along the lines of, hey, you know, this might not be for you, but, you know, that might be her insecurity. But because sometimes we get hung up on that, like, they just wouldn't do this. But just ask, you know, who are we to judge them? Who are we to know exactly what's going on behind closed doors? We can't do that. And then, you know, obviously it ends with the same thing that the National Wake Up Call discussed, which is that specific question of, have you ever considered coaching, instead of saying, let me know, right? Because they won't let you know.
Yeah.
Right. And then also always like pointing out their the strengths that you see in them, like you did, like you're already doing this, that, like that's what I do as a coach, you know, and you're amazing at it, blah, blah, blah. Feel like you'll be a great asset to our team because of X, Y, and Z. And then just go for the asking.
Yeah, and I used one of the triggers, you know, he's trying to save money for a surgery, and it's going to cost him. He's lost close to 220 pounds, and he still has quite a few to go. and he's done it just working out and diet, but he's still, to me it seems like he's stagnant, but if he starts implementing Shakeology, and eating right, yes, they do eat right, but it seems to me like the portions are not what they're supposed to be. So I think their portion control is a little more than what it's supposed to. But anyhow, that's not neither here nor there. So basically, I just told him, focuses a lot on the meal plan, Shakeology, and basically told him everything about the product, and then he's going to speak to his wife, and I said, okay, well, tomorrow I'll go ahead and contact you and see what exactly the outcome is going to be, that way. And the reason I'm following up now is because we have a coach camp that is going to be starting soon, and I need to know so that I can go ahead and get you going. There's nothing for you to worry about because the whole program is laid out. They're going to teach you everything there is to know about the business. So if you're concerned over that, you can be at ease in that aspect because you're going to be provided with all the tools that you need to succeed. So
I want to add to that, Judy. When you speak to him, his big why right now is that surgery.
Yeah.
And Beachbody can financially provide the money that he's trying to raise.
Exactly.
So, in some opportunities, you're going to lead with health, even if it's for the business aspect. Some people just really need it, and they know that by inspiring others in their own journey. But in this situation, it's leading straight up with the business. The finances, what this can do for you, because you already know he's trying to fundraise money for something else.
Yeah. So, and that was one of my pinpoints. So, and that's how I started off the conversation, basically.
And how do you know this guy? I'm sorry.
He's a friend of mine from high school. He was one of our football players, and he just his mom passed away shortly after high school, and he was just so depressed that he succumbed to food. So basically, he ate, and he was way over 300 pounds. Wow. So, but now he's lost a little over 200, and he's still trying to get to where he needs to be, but he has a lot of excess skin, a lot.
Another thing that you can say to him is the fact that if he's been sharing, you said, right, already?
Oh, yes, he shared every day.
Yeah. So I think that I'm sure that if he's doing that, he's inspiring others. So you can say this is a good platform for him to continue to inspire, and not just where he is, you know what I mean? This is like nationwide, and Canada and Puerto Rico. So, and he'll have, like you said, the tools that will teach him how to do that on a larger scale. So I'm sure that's something that he would love to do. If he's done it himself, he knows others can do it too,
That can do it, yeah.
So amazing. So good luck with that.
Thank you.
Anyone else wants to share questions before we wrap it up?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys have gotten to this part of the book, but I thought it was interesting that she mentioned she does like a rewards program for like referrals. So like there's an incentive.
I saw that.
Somebody gives you a referral. And I just wanted to know if anybody's heard of that or has implied anything in their business that they'd like to share, because it really piqued my interest. And I don't know, it might be something that I might be willing to try, but I'm not sure exactly how it would work out.
I think I saw somebody was doing gift cards.
Some people do it, yeah. I know that there's coaches that do it. I've heard even like on tougher months, people will say like, once we get close to like October, November, December, those are like our tougher months of the year because of the holidays. You pull out tricks from like up your sleeve, like you don't even know, seriously. But one of those is referral based, and when people refer, you can say things like, we'll give you, like Judy said, it can be something, as a gift card. Some people will say, I'll give you a 3-day refresh. So and it can be whatever. It can be a book, it can be the next program. like if they're doing 21-day fix, you can give them, you know, extreme. It really varies on like what you're able to do.
I've done it, Alyssa, with one specifically, and for last year, for a lot of the success points that I got, were because of her referrals, and whatchamacallit, I've done everything from Publix gift cards to, I got her the hand weights. Like I sent her the hand weights, the 1 pound hand weights that Beachbody has. So I mean, it works, but it just depends on the person too. So I do it with her for every 3 people that get a challenge back with me. I get her something.
You know, another thing that I've been doing.
People, but she's the only one that's done it.
You know, another thing that I personally do, and then I'll tell you another thing that I know other coaches have done. What that I personally do is I send them a thank you gift. So like it can be a fixate, it can be, you know, bars, whatever it is, because you're appreciating the fact that they thought of you. But then like I'll do it the first time they're like, hey, I got a referral, and I'll say, hey, like right away, I present the business opportunity. Like you can be earning the commission for this, you know, but a lot of people give pushback, and I'm like, all right, I'll take it, you know. And then the second time, same thing. Hey, like, you want to come to my open house? Like, seriously, you know. But you have to, you know. Sometimes people just takes a little bit. They just think that they can't do it or whatever. So you have to show them the possibilities. So I've sent, you know, thank you gifts, you know, and like I said, it can be, and I like what Monica, it really is, you know, you want to put more things Beachbody related in front of them, right? So I do that. I do fixate. I'll do like the bars, like a boost or whatever. The other thing I've seen coaches do is that if they're running their groups based on a point system, one of the points, and not just like they'll assign maybe like 10 points or 20 points to someone who refers, right? So the person, like let's say you're doing a 21-day fix or 21-day challenge, you're going to rate, you're going to give them points from day 1 all the way to day 21, and then every day has a value attached to it. So basically, you know, day 1 they can earn 5 points, but then you can say bonus points. If you refer someone, you get an additional 20 points. So someone's like, hold up, like I want to win that gift. So I'm going to find whoever, and then they'll refer you. So that's something else that you can do as well. All right. All right. Anyone else? That was a great question. No, we're good. All right. So before we wrap it up, let's share. We can, you know, maybe 3 of you guys, I mean, I don't want to put anyone on the spot, but you can type it out in the chat as well if you feel more comfortable. I know I used to be petrified of public speaking. I still am. But, you know, share with us, you know, where you are in the business right now in terms of Success Club points, which, you know, that's our driver. That's what, you know, moves this business forward. And also, like, where you are now and where you want to end at the end of the month. If you want to speak, unmute yourself. If you want to put it in the chat, do that as well. And then something else in the business that you would like to implement this week. Don't everyone go at the same time.
So I'm at 6. I'm at Success Club 6 with Emerald ranking. And that's all in the month of February, you know. So that's very exciting. I mean, I even have a green pen. I know, right? OD, right? But I'm gonna keep pushing myself for 12.
Awesome.
You know, they're there. And I just put a CTA out, so they're there. I know they're there. I have a lot of follow-ups to do. Because every time I get a no, I force myself to go ahead and send out more invites. Just because for every 10 you get a 1. So I keep doing that. And there was something else I was supposed to talk about, and I'm not remembering right now.
In the business, there something.
Don't hear you. You're muted.
No, not anymore. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
In the business, something that you want to start.
So after, again, thank y'all for making one think what where one is and what one's about. I'm gonna try to focus my post a little more. Sorry. Okay. To focus my post a little more on the 5 things that I want to be identified with. So that's my task, and I used to do it a lot more before, where I used to do, like, every Monday I would just go into my pictures and just select the picture. It was already there, and I haven't been doing that. So I'm going to go back to doing that for, like, Motivation Monday. There's the Thursdays, you know, posting water-related people, not, you know, other drinks. So I used to do that before, so I have to get back on that.
Wine's good for you too.
Right? Wine, vodka, tequila. I mean, I don't discriminate. I'm not one to discriminate, but we need to focus on water.
There's water in all those things.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Seriously. Anyone else wants to share?
Oh, that's it. I'm done. Next.
I'll talk. So my husband and I are at SC12. And what do we want to aim, babe? Maybe another 2-3 more, but put it under his mom's account. Let's see. And for the business, I think, or for me, I guess it's really focusing on inviting a lot more. More. And what? And for Rudy, PD. He wants to do PD. But I've been really good at my PD, getting it done daily. So I think that's it.
Awesome. Anyone else? If you're not talking, I want to see this chat rolling. Like, you like.
Sorry. I actually was off for like 3 minutes, so I kind of missed out. Someone was talking, and then my internet went out, and then blah, blah, blah. So are we talking about goals?
So I asked them to go in the chat if they didn't, you know, if they felt a little shy about sharing or unmuting themselves and sharing where they are with Success Club points and where they want to end the month, and also what they want to implement in the business that they haven't done so yet this week. That is going to help obviously move their business forward and obviously achieve Success Club, right?
All right.
And I guess since I don't see the chat moving, everyone's going to speak. Is that right?
I'll speak.
Emily's like, right.
Okay, right now I'm at SC4.
Awesome.
I'm waiting for my sister, which she said that she's going to be ordering it by Friday, her challenge group, so that would be 6. So that makes me really happy. I want to implement inviting more and getting a little bit more creative with my inviting instead of just putting it out there. Just like, you know, doing it in my post as well, just like it was in the wake up call. I don't remember how she said it, but just putting it in there, just throwing it out there a little bit every day, but not directly saying, hey, you want to be a coach? Like, this is what it's doing for me. So I think that's what I want to do. I just want to get a little bit more creative with my post because I lack a little bit of creativity when it comes to that. So I'm just learning how to post different things, hashtagging a lot more, which has helped, especially on Instagram. Like Carlos was saying earlier, a lot of fitness people have been following, even a lot of coaches. Even when you do meal prepping, a lot of the meal prepping businesses, they'll start following you back or start liking your stuff, which throws out so many different opportunities. So that's what I really wanted to focus on this week, is inviting more, because I feel like that's my weaker point that I need to develop, is inviting more, not being so scared of no's.
I like that you said, and not to go on a tangent because you guys already know me, but I love that you said, you know, I'm not creative, neither am I. And I know that, you know, some of you might not be, some of you may be amazing, you know, with creativity, but focus like Gladys mentioned, focus on those 5 things that define you. And I think it'll make it easier, because when we don't, we're like all over the place. Like, oh my God, what do I post today? Right? So if you focus on those, and what I did was, because I always take pictures. I have like tons of pictures on my phone, and then I forget to post them. I'm like, what the heck? So when I seriously, like for 1 hour, I think it was, I can't remember when, last week, I literally carved out 1 hour to like just go through all my pictures, and then I looked at each picture and I'm like, I took this picture because I wanted to post this. And so I literally wrote down what the post is, and I kid you not, I had over 50 posts that I'm taking from that list and I'm just crossing out. As I'm posting them, I'm just crossing them out, and I'm like, oh my god, I had like over 50 posts in here, and then I would be like, trying to come up with something when I knew I had content.
When you had it already.
So, and I know Melanie does this. She plans her posts for the week, so that's something you can do as well. So, I love that. Anyone else?
Something I learned, I'm sorry, just to butt in on that one. Something I learned from Saudi was that while she's like on the Target line or the BJ's line, that sometimes it's forever, she'll go and she'll start making her post. Like she'll also look at her pictures and she'll put in her captions and she'll save them to a folder on her phone. So that way there's no thinking. You just go to your Beachbody pick folder and post, and that's it. And who hasn't stood online for something? Sometimes we're just there, and like you said, instead of going on Facebook and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and losing time, do something for your business. And that way those 15-20 minutes that you're on there, you actually worked. So that's something I always remember when I stand there doing nothing. I'm like, you know what, I could have been working.
Very true.
I want to work on inviting a little bit more. I send at least 4, 5, sometimes I've sent up to 8, 9 a day, But I also want to include more videos in my posts. Make it a little more personal. That way people can see what I'm doing. I've seen this one coach. She's from here in Puerto Rico also, and she has had major success with the posts. Her name's Annie, right, Melanie? And she's had major success with her posts, but she does a lot of videos. And I've noticed every day she has 2 or 3 people that she's welcoming to her team. It's like, oh my goodness, So I've seen that that's very, very effective. And I think that's something that I want to implement more. I just need to get a little bit more comfortable with the camera. So that's one of my goals.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it. Girl, let me tell you something. I hate the camera. And I would be like, you know what? I just got to do this. And I would be looking. Sometimes it depends on like what inspires you, and gets you like amped up. But after a workout, I think everyone gets like you can do anything, right? I'd be looking crazy. And I'm like, I need to do this call to action, and I'll just post it. And I'd be looking crazy, but I don't care. So just do it. Seriously, because if you're feeling inspired and you want to do it, it's okay if it didn't. Even if you didn't get any likes, and on the National Wake Up Call, how many she said, right? That call to actions usually don't get any likes, but people are looking at them because people don't want to be associated with the fact that they're going to sign up. It's okay.
Yeah.
But especially videos though, that's like up and that is the thing right now. So
yeah,
just do it. And even if one person that you touch with that video, that's all you need, then you've done your job. Just do it.
Okay.
Anyone else?
I will say with the videos, I did one with size, and I got a lot of response because I look goofy as hell doing it. And you always feel cooler than what you look. But I actually got somebody to say something, and I reached out to her. She's a old supervisor, and she was my first Success Club points for this month because she actually bought a challenge pack out of it.
Awesome.
5 more minutes, guys.
Well, I guess I can go. So shame on me. I'm at 2. Not happy about that. I've had like 3 people literally say they're gonna order, and then late last week they decided not to for whatever XYZ reason. So they're back. I don't see that as a no. I see it as it's not the right time. So I'm back on the drawing board. But today I hustled, and I have 2 people that's supposed to buy Friday. So I know I'll end at 10. I'm not worried about it. I know God will make it happen. Obviously, I have to put in the work, so that's where I'm at. And as far as business goes, I want to, I'm sending out between today and tomorrow, I want to send out 10 business invites. And yeah, that's kind of my business goal right now. Because like Gladys said, 1 out of 10 says yes. So I'm trying to get a new coach now by the end of the month. And then yeah, stay on track with my quarterly goal.
Awesome. Anyone else before I share? I know you guys are not shy. They're looking at me like, yeah, we are. Okay, so I'll share. I am at Success Club 15. My husband's account is at 1. I will close his account at 5. I had said at the beginning of the month that I was going to end the month at 20. The reason I need to end the month at 20 is because I don't know if you guys have seen, but last month when I was at the Danny Johnson event, Jorge and I committed to buying 3 houses, or we can say raising money for 3 homes in Nicaragua, because we've always wanted to give back. The opportunity was there. We felt a calling in our hearts, and we went for it. So we funded 1 home there, and I said, we are going to do 2 more by the end of the year. And I said, I don't know how, but I know we will. So I committed that every challenge pack that I sold this whole year, all of the commission was going straight for that project. So that's why I'm hustling hard every month, because everything is going towards that. And my goal this month was to do at least $500. I've raised, I believe it was, I got to do the math again, but I think it was like 432 or something like that. But so I still have, 2 more people to help so that I can definitely contribute towards that. And I know that God will continue to send me the right people so that I can continue to fund those homes. In terms of the business, I actually, Melanie shouted me out last time. I am a mess. And I need to get more organized. So there is this new thing that coaches are using. I don't know if you've heard of it. I think I mentioned it to Melanie, and I didn't send her the YouTube. I have to send it to her. Her is an emerald. She's gonna be all over that. So, but it's basically called Streak. Melanie, please.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah, and it's like amazing. I know CeeLo, who's very quiet tonight, is all over that. And basically it puts your prospects from each category, basically each step of the progression. And when you first start to talk to them, while you're forming them, and you can do that with your coaches, everything. Whether they've been to coach basics and then you move them on to another step, they hit, emerald, now they're going for diamond, blah, blah, blah. So I think it's easier to do it that way, just because a lot, if you have notebooks like I have with prospects' names, and I have like 2 notebooks, with prospects' names, and then I have another one for like notes, and then sometimes if I don't find the other one and it's a national wake-up call, I'm using whatever notebooks in front of me. So it's messy. So you'll lose, people will fall through the cracks that way. And then you'll go back and you're like, oh, I should have followed up with that person. But this is not going to, this is going to basically correct that, because it's going to be right in front of you. It's going to tell you who's on what stage, and you're going to be able to follow up nicely. So my goal is that before the 29th, I am on Streak, up and running. So that's my goal for the business, and I know that's gonna help move me forward. All right.
Just also on the National Wake Up Call last week's, she kept referring to it as Google document. And I was lost. I kept asking people, what's this Google document that she's talking about? It's called Streak. So for those of us that took notes, that kept writing down Google document, it's the same thing. It's Streak.
No, it's different.
No. Remember, this is the conversation we had on Saturday.
No. Google Doc is different. We were saying how she may have been using Google Doc, and we said maybe she's not on Streak yet. They're two different things.
But they're both by Google.
Right,
it's two
right.
different-
It's two
Yeah.
different things because Streak is used through Gmail, right? But it's really to track your prospects through, the funnel, basically. And Google Docs is just basically like a storage system, right? Is that a better way to say
Yes.
it? Right?
Mhm.
So they're both owned by
Google.
Google. That's right. All right. So, oh shoot, our call to action.
I'll text you.
Huh?
We'll do it.
We'll get it together. You have to remind me.
I got a couple of things in mind. I'll text you.
Do you want to give it, or we can do actually what we did for everyone on the call, where they are in Success Club. Where are you in Success Club? Where you want to finish the month, and what are you going to implement this month? Before the end of the month, right? So that you can continue to move your business forward. All right.
That is your call to action if you were not on this call and you're listening to it.
Awesome. All right, guys. Have a
Guys,
great
thank you so
night.
much for your time.
Bye. Good
Bye.
night.
Thanks so much for jumping on.